Alright, the purpose of this video is to go through the process of what running live stream in cameras look like on a Sunday morning. We'll walk through an overview of our software, of our equipment, cameras, and all of that. And then we'll go through the process of setting up for Sunday morning and running the service. So first, let's start with an overview of our software. This is the computer that we're running our live stream on. We have a couple of softwares here. First is our ATEM software control. ATEM is made by Blackmagic. Blackmagic is kind of a leading company when it comes to production and broadcast, things like that. So it's a pretty simple software control. It has a lot of tools that we don't use, so I'll show you primarily what we're using. First, we'll start over here on the left. We have our program. Program is what is showing on the live stream right now. As you can see, it's camera 1. Preview is what's coming up next, camera 2. We only have 2 cameras. Camera 1 is one that we actually zoom in and move around. Camera 2 is one that's stationary. It just gets a wide shot of the stage. Gives us a chance to transition back to camera 2 so that we can move camera 1 around, get a picture we like, then transition back to camera 1. So, camera 1, camera 2. We have this next transition section. You don't really have to do much here, but this is where you have your keys. This upstream key 1, 2, 3, 4 correspond to these. We always want to keep key 1 on air. We can do this if we want to show it up, but we want to always keep it on air by selecting that. What upstream key 1 is, it's actually a green screen pre-programmed coming from our Pro Presenter, which is the software we use to display lyrics on the screen, TV slides, graphics, videos, that kind of thing. So it's coming from this Mac Pro, and all of these settings right here are what make this green screen work and look right. So it's this chroma key upstream key 1 that puts it on air. This transition style you won't really mess with too much. You can change it. We keep it on mix. We keep it at 1. That's how fast it switches. And you just hit auto. When you hit auto, you see this bar move up and you see this bar move down. And also you see over here camera 1 on the program switch to camera 2. So if you hit auto, you're switching to a different camera and it transitions. You can also hit your enter or return key on your keyboard to do the same thing. That's a nice little fast keyboard shortcut. So that is our ATEM software control. We're not using much more. There's all kinds of tools up here that you can use, but we're not really using that. Oh, you can also push this button right here. You won't really need to, but just so you know where it is. Everything goes wrong, you need to fade to black. You have that option. So we'll go ahead and close that out. Actually, we'll just minimize it. Won't close it out right now. Let's go to OBS. This is called Open Broadcast Service or something like that. It is an open broadcasting software. Maybe that's what it stands for. Open broadcasting software. Again, there's a lot of tools in here we're not using, but this is basically what we use to send our stream to Subsplash, which then sends our stream to Facebook and YouTube and all kinds of things. So, first, on this side, we have these scenes. Let me mute this here. We have these scenes. This is where you're going to spend most of your time in OBS. This is basically just a video saying, thank you for joining us. Worship Center, or worship service will begin shortly. It has some TV slides just cycling through of some random announcements for those watching online. And also it has some music playing. And there's your audio for the music if we need to turn it up and down. You get the idea. We try to shoot for hitting it, a little bit into the red at the top of the yellow. That's kind of where we're trying to get our audio levels. So, what the purpose of this pre-service video is, online we cannot put copyrighted music on our streams. Otherwise, Facebook and YouTube might shut them down. They have the option to do that. Now, in the worship center, as people are walking in, we're playing just a random playlist of worship music that we have. And so because we can't send that to our online services, we play this, which has some random instrumental royalty-free music. Royalty-free basically means that the copyright is open, anyone can use it, no one's going to shut it down. So this is just a playlist of random instrumental royalty-free music. So whenever we're ready to start our service, we change our scene to video switcher. Now the video switcher corresponds to the ATEM. That's why we like to keep both of these open. The video switcher will change based on what we do here. Now you don't see it changing right now because of the upstream key, but let me fix that here. I'm going to go into my Pro Presenter here to the left and hit my intro video. There we go. So as you can see now, the intro video to the service is playing. Normally, right when 10:45 hits, you'll hit video switcher at the same time that the Pro Presenter operator is hitting this video, so that it switches all at the same time. Whenever this video ends, we'll go into announcements, and then you see up comes our camera. It's set up for Christmas right now. So here's our camera. I'm zooming in and out. If you hit your auto button or enter, oh, I need to select this software, hit enter, it'll change to that camera 2. You have your camera 1, you have your camera 2. So when you go to camera 2, you can get a better shot on your camera 1. You have a little display over here to your left on another computer. You can get a shot you like, then zoom in. Hit enter again to get back to that. Get another shot you like. Here's a shot of the piano. So you get the idea of how that works. That is OBS. Now, a little bit more into it. You have up here, if you click on OBS and preferences, you can get into all this streaming info. You shouldn't ever have to touch this, but it's good for you to know where it is. I'll show you where to get this info if for some reason on a Sunday morning everything freaks out and you need to fill this info back in. To start streaming, all you do is click Start Streaming. We're not going to record. We're not going to do anything else. Yeah, we don't have to worry about any of this. Settings. Oh, there's your preferences again. All of this is set up how it should be set up, so you don't really have to worry about that. You just hit Start Streaming, and it starts streaming. Down here at the bottom, you have some indicators of what's going on. You have drop frames. We want to see 0 on that. That's great. This is how long, a timer of how long we've been live. How much CPU usage, frames per second. We're streaming at 30 frames per second. That's standard for broadcasts, video. And then right here, this green indicator, it'll turn green, yellow, red. It's basically an indicator of how the stream's doing. Green is good, red is bad, that kind of a thing. So we'll go ahead and exit that out for now. Now, there's one more software you need to know about. It is an online software, and it's on this tab, Subsplash. Subsplash is the service that builds our app and hosts our app, also our website. And so they're a really, really great software. They also host our live stream. If you click on Media here and hit Live, when you go to this website, you then see our upcoming live events. As you see, this Sunday, November 29th, we have 2 live events. We stream Adult Bible Fellowship and we stream the worship service. Let's go and click on the worship service. This is all pre-set up. You have your stream detected right here. Obviously, no stream is detected because we're not streaming right now. This is scheduled for November 28th. I don't think that's right. Oh, wait, no, that is right. Because we scheduled it for 12 hours before the event. That's where you schedule your event to start. This is where you can share a link, embed it. We don't have to worry about that right now. This is what time it's starting. I always start it a minute before just to kind of give a little bit of a buffer time. That 60-second buffer time is nice. What we'll be playing is that video we were showing with the royalty-free music for that minute. So they'll be watching it. Over here, is your syndication. You can share to other live stream platforms. We have Facebook and YouTube. This is linked to my personal Facebook page, so you want to make sure not to stream to Spencer Moreau's profile, but to stream to Grace Point Church. It should already be set up, but just so you know. Also, we want on YouTube to be public. Also down here we have some information, who the speaker is, this additional label, that's basically our sermon series, just a description. We have some artwork attached to it, so when it goes on our app, they'll see this live stream artwork. We also can add some links. We always add a Connect card. Occasionally we'll add some other links if there's special elements in the service that we need to put in there. So this is a nice window to have open and minimized. That is our third piece of software. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave that and get on my phone camera to show you a little bit of our physical hardware pieces that we're using. All right, here is the live stream station. You have your camera 1 and you have your camera 2. This iMac is the iMac we're using to run live stream. Down here is the ATEM Production Studio 4K. This ATEM is what all the audio and cameras and computers and upstream key runs through. It's kind of the brains of everything that's going on. Also behind this computer, you have your Ultra Studio Mini recorder. That's what's sending all the video to this computer through this HDMI cable. You also have that option for SDI. And then back here you have a screen that shows you what all of the inputs are. You have your program or camera 1. You also have that camera 2, which is this guy. And you have that Mac Pro, which is just showing a green screen right now. That means that the video feed will get through it, that upstream key. So you also have some batteries here that are going to our 2 cameras. They are plugged in. Let's start looking at camera 1. So on this side, you have some plugs. These are your audio cables. We want to keep those plugged in. If those are missing, that there's a problem. This is your SDI cable. That is what's running to the Production Studio ATEM down there. This is your remote that's plugged in right here, so you can zoom in and out, record. You have a little remote on this handle. This display just shows you what's going on or what it's seeing. You can also fold this in. You can send it to the other side. Currently, I like to keep it on this side because that's where you're sitting. Back here, this is where our memory cards go. For some reason, CF card A is not working at the moment. Hopefully I'll get that figured out. But we put our memory card in CF card slot B. And then on this side of the camera, we have all kinds of stuff. So first, this is your audio. This is selecting your slot. It'll be selected to B. This is your menu. These set and select options get you through your menu. So let me show you that real quick. If I hit the menu button, you'll see a menu pop up. I can use that scroll wheel to get through it. I can hit that set button. So if I want to hit my camera menu, I can scroll down. That kind of a thing. I won't go through all of that because that would take forever, but I'll show you the fundamentals. You have some more stuff. This is white balance information. You have autofocus, manual focus. That switch could come in handy. If you choose manual focus, then one of these wheels, you kind of have to, I think it's this big one. I think this one might be zoom. I don't know. But if I were to, I can test that out. So let me zoom in here. As you can see, it's not in focus right now. It looks like it's the big one. Yep, it's the big one on the front. You kind of turn that to get it in focus, get that crisp shot. So you can choose auto or manual. That is that camera. Oh, to turn on and off, there's this slider up here. You can turn it all the way to the right for media, but we keep it in the middle for off. And then slide it all the way to the left to turn on the camera. Basic, this is a Canon camera. Basically, this camera too is very similar. It's smaller, doesn't have as nice of a zoom, doesn't have as nice of a picture, but you have your switch up here to turn it off and on. You have some white balance stuff. You have your menu and your menu on here. The menus are identical. You have your audio, which we're not running audio into this camera. This is just for video. You have your SDI port on this side. This camera you might not really have to touch often because you get it set kind of a center shot and then you leave it. You don't really have to touch it again. All right, now let's go through the process of setting up and running a Sunday morning service. The first thing you want to do when you get in here is turn on your cameras and make sure that the card is wiped. First, make sure there's a memory card in there. I've got one right here. Slide it in. Push this little button to poke it out and take it out. Make sure that the logo in the spot where all the holes are, where the pins go, make sure to put that up and forward. Close that up. Now on the screen, you'll see in the top left corner there, 24 minutes in slot B. If I use my menu select and set buttons, I'll hit menu first, use my scroll wheel to go to the other functions, hit set. You can either scroll all the way down or you can scroll up and go to, it's the last one, initialize media. You'll hit set. We're gonna initialize the CF card B. Yes, we do wanna erase all the data. Okay, okay, okay. So that is complete. There are 81 minutes left on that card. After you have erased all of the information on the card, on the cameras, and the cameras are turned on, we will open up our Google Chrome browser and go to Subsplash. There's this tab right here. You shouldn't have to log in or anything, but if you do, all the login information is listed in your handbook booklet that you should have at your station. Hit media and then hit live. Hit worship service. And there you go. You won't really have to do anything in here other than just making sure that we are streaming to Facebook and YouTube. Make sure those are initiated. The time looks good. The date looks good. It'd probably be good to just kind of cycle through that, double check, make sure we're starting a minute before 10:45. That is Sunday, November 29th. Just make sure that all of that information is correct. Now this says no stream detected. It's because it's not sending a stream to Subsplash yet. We'll go ahead and minimize that for now. We'll open up our ATEM software. One thing you'll want to check when you get this opened is that your camera 1 and camera 2 are set in your program and preview. So that way when you hit auto or hit enter, it switches between the two. Also, make sure that on-air button is turned on and hit your upstream key 1 and make sure that all of this is correct, that it's pulling from the Mac Pro and that all of these settings are correct. Next, we'll go ahead and keep that open and we'll open up OBS. Now, this might not show up like this on the camera. It might show a blank screen. If it does show a blank screen, you can double click this and hit defaults and hit Ultra Studio Mini Recorder HDMI. Now, if that doesn't show up, you may need to actually unplug the white cable from the Blackmagic Studio device that's behind the computer. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in. I'll go ahead and delete it. To set up the video switcher from scratch, just hit plus, hit Blackmagic device. We'll create a Blackmagic device, hit the device, Ultra Studio Mini Recorder, HDMI, not SDI, SDI is the other option, but we're doing HDMI here right now. Hit OK. Now, as you can see, that's not showing the whole picture. It's because the ATEM switching software or the cameras are sending 1080p. We are streaming at 720p. And the reason why is Facebook and YouTube are dumbing everything down to 720p anyway. And so we might as well not use more bandwidth or more space on the computer than we need to. So That's why that picture is is bigger than it needs to be. We will just go ahead and shrink that by moving these bars. It'll lock into place once it's filled the whole image. So there we go. Make sure your pre-service video is working. You have your video switcher. And at the end, we also have just this logo slide. Basically, before service, you're going to want to hit this pre-service video. Up to 15 minutes. I would do it probably with 5 to 10 minutes before service starts. Go ahead and initiate that video. Then we're going to start streaming. Once you hit start streaming, you'll see all your information down here show up. You want to keep that at 0 drop frames. You want to keep that indicator green. I'll go ahead and mute that for now. That means everything's working correctly. Now, if you open up your Subsplash dashboard, you see your stream. If you see your stream on here, it is working correctly. You can be assured that it's working correctly. Now, if you don't see your stream on here, I'll go ahead and stop the stream, so I'll show you that real quick. If you don't see the stream on there and it says no stream detected, hit this setup. Make sure it's set up correctly. This is a Subsplash support information that gets you through it. Helps you walk through that. But basically what you would do is go to live, go to settings, and get this information. This is your server URL. This is your stream key. If you go into your settings in OBS and you hit stream, there's your server URL. There's your stream key. Those match. So make sure those are good. But you know they're good if you click on here and you hit your start stream and you see the stream pop up. It always takes a few seconds. You have to give it a minute. There it goes. One viewer. I think that's just me because we're not actually streaming anywhere right now. This is scheduled for Sunday and today's Wednesday. So you have one viewer at 720p. Bitrate, duration, you know everything's working. Now, once you have that, you're set. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to start the stream. Oh, we have 2 viewers. Interesting. I wonder what that is. Once you've done that, you know you're good. You can hit this unmute to hear the audio. That's going to freak it out because we're hearing it out of OBS as well. Now we're just going to keep that minimized for the whole service just in case you need to reference it. So now that you have everything set up and streaming and everything looks right, once the countdown is getting close, or once the countdown hits 0, you want to be coordinated with the ProPresenter operator to hit video switcher at the same time they're hitting the intro video. In fact, it's probably a little better for you to hit it after. Countdown is about to hit 0. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit that intro video. The ProPresenter operator hits the intro video. You hit the video switcher. They're at the same time. Then from there, you are just in ATEM software control. It's nice to have this open so you can see it running and also so you can see these drop frames and all this information. But we just leave that alone. Now, the ProPresenter operator will go through the rest of the service. And as you can see, the stuff that they click on will just pop up on the screen. You don't have to do anything. As we go through the service, those are song lyrics, name titles. You can see the series logo, scripture passages, scripture points. You get the idea. You don't really have to do anything. Now, during the service, let's say during a song, let's pull a song up. During the service, you're gonna want to focus the camera on the action, and so camera focuses. Let's open up our ATEM, hit our enter. Camera is focused. On the person giving announcements at the beginning, that kind of a thing. Now, during the songs, you're gonna want to utilize those 2 cameras. Camera 2 is a wide shot. Camera 1 is a close-up shot that you can move around, zoom in, zoom out, do whatever you want with. So what you're going to want to shoot for is to keep your cameras still. You don't want to have to be zooming in and out or moving them while they're live. So if you want to move your camera 1, transition to your camera 2. Move your camera 1 to a different shot. I'll zoom in here on the drum cage, for example. And then when you hit auto again, you now have a new shot. It just looks a lot more professional when you keep those cameras still. When you only have 2 cameras, that's what works for us. Then you hit the auto button again. We'll get a new shot. Let's zoom in here on the keys, on the piano. You can also hit your enter or return key, and there's the keys. So you get the idea. During that worship time, every 15 to 20 seconds or so, you're going to want to move that camera around, get an idea. If you do happen to need to move the camera while it's live, make sure that you're doing it very carefully and very slowly. Trying to get it as smooth as possible, or you're zoom in and out as smooth as possible. Just a barely zoom. You have a remote handle that can handle that for you. During the message, let's go to our message here. Last Sunday, Chris Meads taught. That name comes up. We have this elder-led prayer that takes place before the message. That gives you an opportunity to get that camera right. So during the elder-led prayer, you might want to switch to camera 2. Get this other camera at the sermon shot, which we like to keep that podium right in the middle, keep the bottom of the frame at the bottom of the stage or podium, and keep the top of the frame just either not showing the screen or barely showing the screen. So use your judgment on that, but just try to get that shot, with the podium right in the middle. You're going to keep it on that shot. You're going to keep it on that shot for the entire sermon. Kind of have that in your mind. I'll make sure to put a screenshot in the booklet that you'll have at your station of what that should look like. So that's the sermon shot. Then for the last song, you can do that switching again, go through that. But at the end of the service, when you're done, you're going to want to go to this, we dismiss people. You're going to want to go to this logo slide. Then you're going to want to stop the stream. That way it gives the end of the stream something. There's a simple logo slide. Hit stop the stream. You can see that the stream will stop up here. Look, there it initiated. It is a little bit behind. There's no stream detected. So I would give it a few seconds on that logo slide, then stop the stream. And that is running the service. So after the service, you don't really need to do anything. I would just make sure everything is closed and that the computer is shut down. Cameras are turned off, that kind of a thing. But that is the basics of the overview of our software and systems and equipment, and then also running a service.